Hello everyone and welcome to this kit analysis for Swimsuit Sayaka. She is an aqua element debuffer and as a limited unit she won't be added to the standard pool at the end of her banner. Her attack is pretty high, and her speed pretty low for a debuffer. Which is our first clue to the fact that despite being a debuffer she's also meant to be a damage dealer. Her skill deals damage to all enemies 3 times, and apply a unique ailment called Vortex. Unlike other ailments dealing damage whenever the enemy it's applied to take a turn, it instead deal its damage when the enemy with Vortex get hit 8 times, after which Vortex will be removed from the enemy. Just like other damaging ailment it can be triggered instantly by Nemu and Hana's special attack, and anything that increase ongoing damage will work with it. And unlike other ailments you can apply Vortex multiple time, though it's almost impossible to stack more than 2 at once since it will most likely trigger before then. This skill also apply a debuff on all enemies that increase the amount of break gauge depletion they receive by 20%, making it way more easy to break them, even without having 2 breakers in the team. Her special attack hit all enemies 5 times and reduce their defense by 30%. And just like her skill it can also inflict Vortex, but this one is stronger, dealing 160% damage instead of 100%, and it gets triggered after only 5 hits instead of 8. And if you weren't convinced that she's meant to be a damage dealer by her high attack stat, and the damage inflicted by Vortex, then her ability certainly confirms it since it increases her attack by a pretty massive 30% once it's fully stacked, and a 30% damage increase when there is an enemy with Vortex on the field. Her support ability is decent since it can increase speed, but the increase for ongoing damage is really not that good, so she likely won't be your first choice for support in most cases. Her Ascension 2 and 4 are pretty good. Her 3 and 5 only increase her personal damage, so they're a bit worse. And her A1 is borderline useless. She has quite a lot of choice for equipment since she can be built for either damage, support, or a bit of both. If you want to use her for her damage you can use Nemu or Asuka's support ability, and even Yachiyo is pretty good if you have a crit buffer in the team. Otherwise you can use Ren, Im or Tsukasa to increase her speed, though you will need another debuffer in the team to activate Tsukasa's support ability. And for portrait you can use either attack or damage increase to improve her damage, and speed or MP recovery to make her a better support, although even if you build her with speed rather than attack, it will still improve her damage to a lesser extent since she will attack more often. For Crystalis I think it's best to give her 2 offensive ones and 1 for support, with speed being better than mana infusion in my opinion. We don't want to use dominant blow even if it's slightly better than torrent because it would be useless outside of Aqua weak content, and since she's also a support you might use her when she doesn't have an elemental advantage. For substats you want to focus on speed, and you ideally want some crit and debuff hit rate alongside it, but it's not that necessary. I don't think she is locked to a single team or team archetype. You can use her as a main damage dealer, a secondary damage dealer, as a support or break support, or even in the DOT team even though it's kinda bad. In fact she will fill at least several of these roles in any team you put her in. Only synergy we can point to are characters that can activate her Vortex easily, like Nemu, Ren or Swimsuit Mommy. If we compare her to other debuffer we can quickly see that her offensive debuffs are really not that good, having similar debuffs to Felicia. Even Im is a better debuffer, although the fact that her special attack is single target can make her a bit worse in AoE fight. What really sets her apart from the other debuffers is obviously her high damage output. Even Ren, who got a considerable damage increase with her EX Crystalis, should still deal less damage than Sayaka without hers. Her main drawback is that she's slow. Faster than an attacker yes, but still pretty slow. And another thing that she have over the other debuffer is her break gauge depletion debuff, making her the only break support in the game. Overall I think that she is better than I initially thought, but not on the same level as the best supports such as Mabayu, Mami, or Moemura, so I really can't say that she's a must summon. Still, being able to compress 3 roles into 1 slot can be pretty valuable sometimes, so getting her is far from being a bad thing either. But if your main focus is score attack then obviously she's pretty bad for it if you exclude the current one that's made to make her good. Her debuffs are just not strong enough to elevate your score. That's it for this video. She is by far the weirdest unit ever released, so I'm really curious to hear any feedback you may have if you pulled for her. Goodbye and see you soon.